everybody else in the world is annoyed by these videos. Oh, I thought I lost it again. There we go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this video is gonna be about evaluating and reevaluating. So my first video that I did was about making a list and executing your list, and that kind of had to do with like daily goals. It can be long-term goals too, but if you can start making your list daily, then you can start making goals. You know, so many people say, yeah, I have goals, but are they really goals if you're taking the steps? So this is about evaluating and reevaluating. So the first thing is asking for help if you need help. If there's something you're struggling with, that should be your first thing. Like, what keeps you from reaching your goals? If there's some way that you can reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, what can help? Ask people for opinions. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing at all. There's a lot of good qualities about asking people, because it means that you want to progress. You see that what you're doing isn't working, you got to do something different. So first, what is kind of important, very important, is look at your life right now today, and then think back 5 years from now. 5 years ago, where did you live? What were you doing? I mean, think about everything of 5 years ago. So for me, 5 years ago, I was 22. I'm 27 now. So 5 years ago, Adrian was little. You know, what job was I working? Where was I at financially? Where was I at mentally? What habits did I have? What behaviors did I have? So start by thinking, where was I 5 years ago? Okay. And then, were there things about myself 5 years ago that I hated, that I absolutely hated? Were there any? I mean, be real with yourself. And then think, were there things 5 years ago about myself I really liked? Were there good things? We probably all have both. There's gonna be things you love and that you hate about your past. And then, how are they different from today? So look at yourself today. Are you in the exact same place that you were 5 years ago? And then think about, what about 1 year ago? Where was I at 1 year ago today? So October of 2016, where were you? What were you doing? How did you feel? Think about it. I mean, like, really, really think. And it makes it easy sometimes now that we have like the memory thing on Facebook, and we have the time hop and things like that, where we can look back and, oh yeah, I do kind of remember a little bit about what was going on 1 year ago. So how did you feel about yourself 1 year ago? Did you have any goals 1 year ago today? Did you have any goals? What were those goals, and did you reach them? If you did, that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic, because it is not easy to sit down and say, these are my... See if this reconnects. Okay, it reconnect. Yay. Sorry, it was being crazy. I'm out in the country following a tractor, so that's great. But anyways, if you guys have anything to say or add or ask, you know, you can put in the comments. I can see your comments, at least when my reception isn't being crazy. But anyways, what kind of goals did you have for yourself? And you know, do you have any goals currently? So I make all sorts of kind of goals. I make financial goals, I make skill building goals, I make parenting goals. Where do I want myself to be, but where do I want my family to be? Where do I want my children to be? Your goals need to align with the people you have and want in your life. So when I make goals, I don't make goals just for myself. Yes, I need goals for myself, but I also have to make some family goals too. I have to make some, you know, marriage goals too. And and Brandon has to make his own separate goals. So you have to progress as an individual, but you want your things to align with your family and with your marriage. So those are important. You know, those aren't things that you can just sit down and, this is what I want and I'm going to do it. Well, how do they align? So make sure that makes sense too, because if, you know, the wife has a goal that goes this way and the husband has a goal that goes this way, that can cause some issues. So set your goals and then break them down into smaller goals, and give yourself deadlines. You have to give yourself a deadline. Otherwise, how are you going to follow through? If I say, well, one day I'm going to do this, and you look back 1 year from now, didn't do it. What about when you look back 5 years? Didn't do it. So you have to make a deadline. And oh, it's back. Yes. Sorry. Horrible reception still. So make sure you give yourself a deadline and make yourself accountable. So, like, don't make it a secret what your goals are all the time. Like, you don't have to share everything, but have, like, an accountability partner. Like, whether that be your husband or your best friend or your mother or whatever, you know, make those goals and tell them. Write them out and say, 1 year from now, I want to have my car paid off. Okay? So then you break them down into smaller things. Well, how much do I owe on my car? And if I pay it off early, what does that entail? So that means breaking it down. How much do I need to pay a month to have it paid off in exactly
in 1 mile,
12
turn
months.
left onto West Division Road.
So I like to be realistic. Things come up. So I like to set goals a little tougher. Like I like to, the breakdown of them at least. So if I want to pay my car off in 12 months, then I break it down into what do I need to pay for 12 months. Instead, I do it, you know, what do I need to pay to have it paid off in 10 and a half months, because you know things come up and that's just the way that it is. So make sure what you're doing is realistic, but push yourself. Don't be too easy on yourself, you know. And that also means that, like, a few months in, reevaluate, look at your goals. Am I on track? If I'm not on track, then
turn left onto West Division Road.
Whatever it takes to get on track. So
in 1.4 miles, turn right
can
onto
you guys
North
hear my
Marion
GPS?
Road.
Because that's crazy. Anyways, sorry. So look at the goal. If 2 months in you're like, okay, I didn't stick to any of that, well, then you need to either hustle and make up for it these next 2 months, or you're not going to meet your goal. So that means, okay, let's look at it. What do I need to do? Or if it's too easy, you need to make it tougher on yourself. You need to do the best you can with everything. So this isn't just about, you know, finances. This is about everything. So for 5 or more years of my life, I kept saying, I'm going to go back to school. I don't know what I'm going to go for, but I'm going to go back to school. I basically spent so much time wasting time because I didn't put a deadline on my goal. So the first
in half a mile, turn right onto North
Marion
Road.
The first thing that I needed to do was actually figure out what I wanted to do. So that was a breakdown of my goal of getting a degree. So break it down as, okay, I'm going to spend time the next week and I'm going to research different career
turn right
paths.
onto North Marion Road.
I'm going to look into so many different options and I'm going to make a list of everything I could see myself doing for 1 week.
In 3.5 miles, continue onto North US Highway 24 East.
All right, I hear you. Anyways, so then once I have a list of all my options, I'm gonna break down what is important to me in a job. For me, it was schedule. Schedule is very important. There's plenty of jobs I could see myself doing, but which ones will allow me to have the Monday through Friday first shift job, nights, weekends, and holidays off, so that I can spend time with my family during those times. That's something that provides happiness for me, is the schedule of my job. So that was one of the things I needed to do next, was look at certain things about the jobs. Not just what do I see myself doing, but, you know, the other aspects. So I narrowed it down a little more. You know, what was the next goal? The next goal for me was, okay, I see myself doing something with computers. So then I start looking up for a different week. I decided, you know, this week's goal is to look up all the different branches of what computer science can be. So many different things, you know, narrow it down. So that was a different goal. That's how you break down your goals. And then, so then after that, it was, well, I have to have an online school because I have to continue working. So then my goal was this week, or month, because it takes a long time to do this part, was researching schools. What schools provide certain education that I need? So, you know, you break down your goals. If your plan is to start school by this time next year, that's a good goal. And you need to start by this month I'm going to do this research, this week I'm going to do this research. You know, set yourself up with those small things. And you're going to have to reevaluate those. You're going to have to look back and say, well, this is taking Oh, we're back. Okay, sorry. I know that keeps happening. It's terrible. Okay, but I'm getting a little off track now, because this is not just about finances. This is not just about school. This is about goals. So I was just trying to give specific examples on how I would set a goal, and then I would break the goal down into smaller goals, and I would give myself deadlines. So one thing is very important.
Continue straight.
Actually set those goals, break them down.
In 1.8 miles, turn left onto North Jefferson Street.
Give yourself a deadline, make yourself accountable, get yourself a goals partner, you know, or I have at home a vision board, and it has pictures of my goals for the next 5 years of my life. It doesn't have the actual deadlines on there, but it keeps it to where I am seeing this every day. This is what I want for my life. This is what I want for my family. And when people come over to my house, they ask about it. And they say, what is this? What is this with these pictures on it? Tell me about this. And I say, well,
in 1 mile,
I made
turn
this.
left onto North Jefferson Street.
I made this 2 years ago, and this is my goals for my family. This is my vision board, because if I can see it right in front of me and I can make myself accountable, I'm more likely to reach that goal. If I make a list and I stick it in my desk drawer and I never touch it again, it's not going to happen. So make sure that you're reevaluating also. Like, okay, did a year go by and I really didn't do any of that? I'm tired of that. I'm tired of wasting my time and not showing my full potential. So it takes work and it takes time to figure out what works for you, but it's important. If you feel like
turn left onto North Jefferson Street.
Yeah, I hear you. If you feel like you want and need to be in a different place, you know, even 20 years from now, if you
for 21 miles, continue on North Jefferson Street.
If you want to, you know, retire one day, even, how do you get there? Do you keep doing what you're doing right now and think that one day you're just going to retire? That's not the way it works. And what goals do I have to feel good about myself? So look back. What have you done? What have you accomplished? What have you not accomplished? what has not worked for you, what has worked for you. Write those things down. Tell yourself you're going to do it and actually act on it right away. If you say, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, and then you do nothing else with it, it's not just going to one day happen for you. You have to actually make yourself accountable. So don't make them too easy and push through. And for me, school was difficult because I've battled a drinking problem for a long time. I don't know if people know this. I don't really care anymore. I've battled it for a long time, and just about a year and a half ago, I started really making changes. That started with, what is going to make me better with this? I don't want this problem. I don't want to struggle with this anymore. But over the years, I had tried over and over and over again to just stop. Just don't even touch another drink. It never worked for me. I could normally make it about 6 weeks max. 6 weeks max was all that I could make it without touching a drink, and then I would totally just lose it. I would lose my stuff. I mean, I would be in a rut. It was terrible. Then I was back in the exact same situation again. So I had to keep reevaluating. What do I have to do to reach this goal to not be an alcoholic anymore? I mean, I'm always gonna struggle, but how do I control it? How do I not be under the influence of that? So the first step for me was getting in my own head and saying to myself, I don't need anything that's going to make me a different person. So for so long, I was under the impression that when I'm stressed, when I'm mad, when I'm sad, when I'm celebrating, I need a drink. That's what I would say to myself. I need a drink. I was about to really curse, but F that. I don't need it. Because I'm better than that. I don't need anything but myself, God, and the people around me that are positive. So you have to start by reevaluating, get in your head and say, first I have to change how I talk to myself. I don't need that. I don't need whatever's pulling me down. Then I had to reevaluate again. Okay, I got my mental state a little better. Now what do I do? Now it was more of a physical thing. If I'm going to a party and I know I'm going to be tempted, what would make it easier? And I would think, and I would think, and I would think, got it. I'm going to take a 24 case of water. Yes, water. I did this. We had a big bonfire, and I said, I'm not drinking that night. I don't want to do it. So I took a 24 case of water, and I was very tempted all night. You know, people were just used to, you know, passing the bottle, or I was used to going to the fridge and getting another beer or whatever. Every single time was because my hands were empty. So I had to look at, you know, creative ways to reach my goals. It's not as simple as, you know, well, write it down and then do it, you know, like, think outside the box. So I got that 24 case of water, and I drank at least 10 or more of them throughout the night. That typically would have been beer, whiskey, you know, whatever was handed to me, whatever I brought, whatever other people brought, that's what it would be. So that was a way for me to get to the next step in my goal. If I don't want to drink, I need to figure out how to make that real. So to make that real for me was take a case of water. The next thing was realizing that I am weak when I'm in high emotion situations. High emotion situations. So when are all the times that I used to drink? Okay, we're back. Yay! Sorry. Okay, so high emotion situations. I realized that drinking in high emotion situations was terrible. was a terrible idea. Everybody's like, ooh, let's celebrate. Let's go get some beer. Wrong. I'm not doing that. You guys can do that if you want. I'm not doing that because I have to keep celebrating and keep celebrating and keep celebrating. Or if I'm depressed, don't take a drink because you just keep thinking, I'm going to numb it a little more. I'm going to numb it a little more. I'm not doing it anymore. If I'm just, if I'm just sad, if I'm just like, oh, I just need to chill, blah, blah, blah. There's the word, need. I don't need it at all for when I'm depressed, when I'm sad, when I'm celebrating, when I'm mad. Cut it out. I couldn't have gotten to the place of understanding and realizing that without sitting down and evaluating my life and then making some goals and reevaluating and thinking outside the box. Ask people for help when you need help. Get into your resources and look at your life. Am I where I want to be? Am I where my goal was set for a year ago? Am I where I want to be from 5 years ago? Now where do I want to be the next 5? It is important, and I'm sorry this video is longer, and I'm sorry it was paused so many times because of bad reception, but I mean it, guys. If you want to be better, you have to act on it, and that starts with writing it down, saying it out loud, giving yourself a deadline, making yourself accountable, and acting on it, and reevaluating, am I doing what I said I was going to do just yesterday? If I'm not, start right now. Then next week, wow, I still didn't do any of that. Okay, we're back. Sorry. I know I keep losing you guys. So I just want to make it very clear that, this is on ourselves. When we don't reach our goals, we can't make excuses for it at all. Because if something comes up, that's when we reevaluate. And that's when we look at it and say, okay, I got to change something, but I got to keep progressing. So what do I do? So I know this was a long video. I'm glad that some people stopped in and was watching it. I want you guys to feel pumped. I want you to pump yourself up and say, I'm going to be in this place at this time because I can do it, because I'm going to set my goals, and get excited about it. Don't be like, yeah, maybe I'll do it. Get pumped. And if you feel like you need some guidance with it, if you're not sure how to get started, or if you oh, finally it's back. Okay, so I'm just gonna end this right now because I'm tired of my shitty reception and I'm not doing it anymore. But I think I got everything out that I wanted to say. I know this video is so much longer than it normally is. Maybe that's annoying, I don't know. I'll probably have to break them down later on. But I wanted to give you guys real life situations and make you see what I mean with some of the goals. So if you need help, please ask me. Please message me. I will help you. If I personally can't help you, I can give you a path. I can tell you where to go to get the answers. I can give you some resources. Or I can pass you on to somebody that can give you the resources. I will do what I can to
In 10 miles, turn left onto West Old Trail Road.
So, thank you guys for watching. Please feel free to share this video if you'd like. I would love it. I am starting a YouTube channel, which is weird, but I'm doing it. I feel like this is where I'm at, where I'm supposed to be. So, let me know what you think and what you like and what you don't like, and if there's things I should change. Like the video, give me some thumbs up, give me some hearts, share my video, check out my YouTube channel, whatever. But you guys have a good day. Bye. Love you all.